This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Factor. Head on over to the super easy to remember URL, go.factor75.com/rogue120. Make sure to use promo code rogue120 at checkout. You'll save $120 on meals. That was a good one, right? I'm just kidding about the URL. They understand. You got to admit it's kind of long. They're going to click on it anyway. Who's hungry? Jason, how much do you think it costs to have a proper cocktail bar?
Oh my God, $7,000.
In Bitcoin.
So
$20?
What do I have on me? Is my Blockbuster card in here?
Jason, I'm gonna guess that a lot of our fans have a modest bar, but they would still like to make an incredible cocktail. What do we do?
That's why we have award-winning bar manager Erin Ashford at Olame. Erin, tell us how we can make a simple, amazing whiskey a-go-go?
So the idea behind this cocktail is it's essentially a Manhattan riff. To be more exact, it's a Brooklyn riff. A Brooklyn is a riff on a Manhattan, but instead of bourbon in a Manhattan, it's rye whiskey.
All I'm hearing is Back to the Future. All right, there's a Manhattan riff in B. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up.
Well, you said a Manhattan, I thought 212.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right.
Y'all know Manhattans.
Yeah.
Trevor taught you.
He did.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah, it's been a while.
Bourbon, sweet vermouth, bitters. So that's your base for Manhattan. So a Brooklyn brings in rye whiskey instead of bourbon, and it's still
Couple of Beastie
vermouth,
Boys.
but then it brings in maraschino liqueur. So it's kind of just a variation of the classic Manhattan.
Okay.
The idea behind this is kind of summertime whiskey drink, so it's not so brooding and dark and heavy feeling. So it's very easy to make because of the 3 ingredients, and because of it being stirred, you don't need a lot of different tools.
So this is still kind of a boozy, brutal beast, but with an umbrella, it's like, it's summer.
Yeah, and the umbrella's like turned up.
Yeah, there we
Dare
go.
you put an umbrella in whiskey?
Yeah.
What?
Actually, you know what? I kind of want to do that and see if
Why
it's
not?
bad.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
Rex.
Sprinkle flowers in it. 3 ingredients plus bitters and a garnish. So really simple, shouldn't take you too much to purchase at the store. And these are all ingredients that are really easy to find throughout the country that should be in stock at your local liquor store. So the best way to make a cocktail at home is to build from smallest ingredient to largest. And the purpose for that is so that you're not wasting your most expensive component, which is the whiskey, first if you were to mess up or pour the wrong amount.
So this is kind of the inverse of what we were doing with the punch.
Yes, and it is confusing because if you look at cocktail books or recipes online, they aren't listed that way. It always lists from largest ingredient to smallest, but when you're building, that's a great skill to have, which is to build from the smallest to largest, so.
Aim small, miss small.
Yes. Our bitters here are cardamom bitters. This adds a really nice savory note. This is
You said a word that I don't understand. A cardigan?
Cardamom, similar to
Is that a Pokemon?
Cardamom. It's different than a Pokemon.
What is it?
Cardamom
It's
is delicious.
It's a spice. It's used a lot in Indian food, so it's really savory, a little bit floral.
Can I smell it?
Yes. They're really aromatic. You definitely do not need too many.
It's very floral. I don't know what else to say.
It's almost like cinnamon, clove.
Have you never had like cardamom and orange cookies?
No, that sounds odd. Wait, maybe I
So
have.
good.
Are those close to like the molasses cookies?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I have.
Often have cardamom on them.
But is this a liquor store ingredient or a grocery store ingredient?
A little of both. Because of the alcohol volume being lower alcohol, you can find them at grocery stores, but because they're a little more nuanced, it might be better to go to a local liquor store and ask.
Niche. You're probably not going to find like a specific cardamom bitters.
Versus like an Angostura bitters.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And how much are we putting in?
For this, we're gonna do 1 dash. Again, it's kind of a loose measurement, so it's almost like 3 to 4 drops is 1 dash from this particular bottle. And it's kind of just like an upside down dash.
Oh, wow, that is.
So
not much at all.
very small amount. And then we're gonna move on to something herbaceous. So like I said, this cocktail is more spring-like. So then we're gonna use Bonal. This is a gentian liqueur. Gentian is a root. It's this flowering root that's on the bottle. This is from France. They were an early adopter of the Tour de France. They were used for digestives or for health purposes. So at the Tour de France, people would be giving out little Bonal shots to kind of like little pick-me-up.
Could I have a smell
Yeah,
of what
please.
that's like?
So it's gonna be similar to Amaro, but it's wine-based. Wine, herbs, spices. They're
Like-
kind of coy about what all
Not
is
quite
in
a
there.
lavender. But
More earthy.
yeah. This is one you'll keep using for other drinks as well? Because
Yeah.
this already seems kind of out of the core
little
five. that you
esoteric,
have,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I would treat this similar to like a vermouth. So instead of sweet vermouth, use Bonal. It's another wine-based liqueur. So if you were gonna do a Manhattan, you could easily switch out your sweet vermouth and use Bonal.
And how many parts of this are we going to use?
So in this, it's a 3/4 ounce. So this is a cocktail that's 3/4 ounce, 3/4 ounce, ounce and a half whiskey. I'm not as good with the parts.
Yeah, so that's like
Half a
1, 2,
part.
1, I guess, basically.
And then we move on to Amaro Montenegro. Amaro means Italian bitter liqueur, essentially. There can be Amaro from the States as well, but Italy is like the king of Amaro. That's where it all came from originally.
We've dealt with Amaros a couple of times.
Like Campari is technically an Amaro.
Right.
This is gonna be more entry level, juicier with the sweet orange, bitter orange, has more of the like clove and cinnamon, like baking spices
So,
going
so
on.
far, a lot of earthy and floral
Yes.
notes.
So this is gonna be equal to the Bonal, so 3/4 ounce. So then the main component is rye whiskey. I like 100 proof rye whiskey in cocktails because I like a strong drink and because it stands out more. Strong rye whiskey is gonna be really citrusy, really bright. It can stand up to any type of sweetness, and it's just gonna give you like a really strong, stiff whiskey drink.
More for a summer whiskey.
Yes.
I must admit that me and Rye have not gotten along because it's so strong on the alcohol content that I always feel like it's screaming at me, and I want to know what I did wrong. But it seems like this is a good way to cut it and keep it grounded, as it were,
Yes.
with earthy notes.
And we're doing technically equal parts of the modifiers to the whiskeys. And while they do have alcohol, they're lower alcohol than the whiskey. So you're kind of balancing it to where it is still all spirit and booze. So it is still a very strong drink, but it won't feel like you're caught on fire and no one's screaming at you.
So to that end, what are the categories for each of these?
Main spirit, modifier, bittering agent, and then lengthener. In this case, our lengthener will be ice, which is going to do the dilution.
Okay. Yeah.
Both of us, you can see us go, oh, thank goodness. Otherwise,
like-
that's a lot.
Like, this is intense. That's
Yeah.
a lot of booze.
Well, especially when we're talking like it's just 3 ingredients, but then it starts to feel like a lot. There's all these other elements behind the scenes that go into it. Out of the gate, the expenses are really low, but then the preparation of it takes a little more time to,
So if
to
we're
finesse.
3/4 ounce, 3/4 ounce, that means 1.5 ounce?
Yes, so now 1.5 ounce of Rittenhouse rye, then ice. So making large cubes of ice at home is really easy now that there's all these rubber trays. Getting perfectly clear ice is extremely difficult. I don't know how to do
As
it.
we learn.
Yeah. We did a clear
You
ice
did?
episode. Yeah.
How did it go?
It went pretty well.
Yeah.
It was. It looked like a clear
That's
block
awesome.
of ice.
The counterintuitive part is that it has to be sort of insulated as it freezes, so it can
Yes.
freeze like
So
a
it drips
pond
down.
would, just straight down.
Yes.
And people are weird about ice.
People are weird about ice, but it is true. There's a science behind ice. It's doing so much to your cocktail, and you don't have to get super nerdy to get it right. You just need to know it needs the proper amount of dilution. Like a Negroni that's not stirred tastes like syrup. You have to stir it properly on the right ice. This cocktail, if you just drink it neat right now, it would be unbalanced. You wouldn't taste the cardamom, you wouldn't taste the whiskey. It would just feel flat and dull, and it just wouldn't be what it's meant to be.
Do we want to try a before and after?
I mean, I might be talked
Take a
into
straw.
this. That's wild. We learned that with Daniel when he had us add just a single drop of whiskey to bring out the oils on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's just a weird, not even
like,
candy syrup.
what is it?
It's,
Yeah.
Brian's struggling.
I'm
Stays
fine.
with
You all right?
you.
I'm fine.
Are you holding it in your mouth?
You're weird.
So in this case, you can make your own large ice, which is how I like this cocktail. I like it to be a little sweet and stiff, like it kind of tastes now, but could be better. But if not, you could use just regular ice out of your refrigerator, but just be aware that the ice out of your refrigerator has more ice chips, so therefore the ice chips will melt quicker. So it's all about how quickly your ice melts and how much water you get from the ice.
Right.
I'm gonna do it really fancy with my hands. And then you just wanna stir it.
Oh, you can already see it diluting.
Yeah, it'll change the color, it'll change the volume as well, so you wanna make sure you're doing this in a glass that is large enough for the water and the ice to fit. So I'm really letting it dilute because we're not doing any stirring beforehand. So like a Manhattan, you would stir and then pour into a glass. This particular cocktail, the Whiskey A Go-Go, I like it built in the glass because it's so light, it like lost itself when I pre-stirred it. So any good cocktail has a garnish. Some garnishes are just for looks, some are for purpose. This is a purposeful garnish. The lemon zest, pith side up, because that's the bitter side, and then citrus side down.
Oh.
And you kind of bend it sideways, and you can see the little expression. And then some bartenders, you know, kind of get the aromatics around the glass. You can do a twist.
Classy, simple,
Yes.
easy. We started with our smallest ones. We had the cardamom bitters. We had 2 modifiers, our Bonal and then our Amaro Montenegro, 3/4 each of those. And then we had 1.5 ounces of rye whiskey, a big cube of ice because it will dissolve and dilute slower.
Yes.
And we zested and took a little twist of the lemon.
It is remarkable how nothing changed from that syrup, and yet everything changed.
Right.
The little bit of the aromatics, that little bit of that zest, that little bit of dilution, wow, that is a fine cocktail.
It seems like you've made something with a complicated flavor profile with only a few ingredients.
So for everybody who wants to follow and learn more from you, where should they go?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Erin Katie. Otherwise, you can follow me on Facebook. My name's Erin Ashford, and I'm here at Ola May in Austin, Texas.
Wow, that is awesome.
Are you convinced?
Yes. Dude, overjoyed, ecstatic, over the moon, so excited. Everything about you is brilliant. We love the fact that you make meal planning easy, seamless. I mean, come on, the fact that you've got options for people counting their calories, people who are pescatarians, vegetarians, vegans, fresh ingredients, hormone-free. What's not to love? And you know how busy I am, right? I'm constantly on the go. I don't have time to cook a whole meal for myself, much less to go to the grocery store and pick out the ingredients. You make it so easy. That's why we love working with you, right? I mean, the fact that you show up on my doorstep and all I have to do is throw you in the microwave, and minutes later, I have an incredible meal, fully cooked. It's amazing. Oh, you're right. No prep, no mess. There is a minor thing. I mean, look, I love you. The whole team loves you. We all love you. The fans love you. You're great. I mean, the URL. I mean, here, go.factor75.com/rogue120 and use promo code rogue120 at checkout. Now, granted, yes, they get $120 off. That's amazing, but whew, it was a lot of screen time. I hadn't thought of it that way. Yes, but I mean, I'm just saying it's a long URL. We could use a shortener or... No, yeah, you're right. It's a good URL. It's a fine URL. Rolls off the tongue. Go.factor75.com/rogue120. Use promo code rogue120 at checkout. Get $120 off. Now that I think about it, I realize I have this whole thing upside down and backwards because the 120 is the theme. Not sure where the factor 75 comes. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's an easy URL, and you're right to. I think I have the solution. So head on over to go.factor75.com/rogue120. Use promo code rogue120. Just click on the thing. Doesn't matter. Okay, yes, technically it does matter because we don't get credit for the sale otherwise. Shut up. Shut up.
Modern Rogue is supported in part by viewers like you at patreon.com/modernrogue. In the description, you can find all of our credits and additional ways to support the show.
In Bitcoin.
I
So
don't.
$20.
What do I have on me? Is my Blockbuster card in here?
That's the look of somebody who hopes that ages very poorly.
Historically, it's sadly it aged very poorly.
That'd be a great homeless sign. It's just on cardboards that says buying the dip. To the moon! Diamond hands!
You want to save us?